How many cards are graded every year, and what does that total number do to the value of the card over time? I think there are some big lessons to learn, and some of those questions we can answer in today's video. We're going to look back in the archives at the PSA population report for 2017 football, and then every year from 2017 to now, finding the biggest rookies and how many of their cards have been graded. There's some big takeaways from the numbers that we're about to uncover. But first, here's your intro. So what I've done here is I went to the PSA archives and pulled up 2017 Prism through 2023 Prism. I didn't do 2024 because it's a new release and hardly any of them have been graded. But we all know that there was a ton of sports cards printed in 2020 and beyond when the sports card boom happened. But we're going to see how the grading population has since changed over time, year by year. And what I want to do is just find the biggest rookie from every year and look at his numbers. So we're going to start with Patrick Mahomes in 2017. This is a year, I've talked about it before, every single rookie is a prism. There's no such thing as a base. They're all silver prisms. So for our base comparison, we're just going to have to use the prism card because that's what we got. So you have 6,000 total cards graded, 1,000 of which are PSA 10s. And then if you go to the next year, we actually have silvers and base. So Josh Allen, here's just the base, no refractor prism card. There are 6,400, so you have 400 of these more, basically, than the Patrick Mahomes. So not a big increase there. The difference for this year, the 2018 year, is that they overcorrected and they made the silver prisms an SSP because of some pushback that why are all the rookies silver the previous year? So then silver became a 1 per box SSP, and that's why there's only 26 Josh Allen silvers in PSA 10. And I would argue this is probably Josh Allen's best card that's still reasonably attainable. It's such a cool piece of history, and a lot of people don't realize that they're SSPs for 2018. Anyways, we're going from 6,400 base cards graded for Josh Allen to 2019. We have 7,500 graded for old Kyler Murray. So we see a decent increase there, about 1,000 total cards. The biggest increase is down here with the silver, where we go from about 20 to about 200 at the silvers, the PSA 10. So with the silvers, you see about 10 times more cards landing a PSA 10, implying that there's quite a few more of them out there, but they're not 1 per box case hit. If you go to 2020, there's a ton of rookies to look at, but Joe Burrow is probably the most noteworthy. And this is where we actually see an explosion in the total number. This is when it happens. This is when the pandemic really starts leading Panini to just crank out as many base cards as possible. Of course, Panini doesn't disclose stated odds or anything, and they don't even really give us any way to calculate loose print runs. But we can just see from the grading population here, there is a ridiculous amount of cards graded and therefore produced. So 2020, there are 16,000 total Justin Herbert cards. As a reminder, that's over 2 times as much as Kyler Murray has from the previous year. So they at least most likely doubled the print run. People are probably more excited about grading Joe Burrow than Kyler Murray, but there's other. Well, let's look at Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert still probably has a ton. Yeah, there's still 16,000 Justin Herbert cards graded. So the population and the print run just exploded between 2019 and 2020. But does it slow down? Let's see by checking out Trevor Lawrence. There are significantly less Trevor Lawrence cards graded. So there's a couple different factors here. For one, during 2020, during Burrow and Herbert's rookie card season, that's when everybody who had been in collecting was getting back into collecting, and a lot of people that weren't normally grading were grading. By the time 2021 Prism came out, which was probably in 2022, February-ish would be my guess, some of those people had ventured back to real jobs and less sports cards. So there's that pushing down the overall total numbers. This is a quarter of what we see graded for Justin Herbert here with Trevor Lawrence. That said, Trevor Lawrence has not yet been nearly as exciting as Burrow, as Herbert. Trevor Lawrence was the golden boy, but thus far he's not lived up to expectations. And then 2022 is a really weird year. The best rookie is probably going to be Brock Purdy, but this is just a horrible rookie class. So while the 2022 class wasn't necessarily exciting, it hasn't really stopped people from grading his cards, and it seems like Panini made quite a few of them. There are 7,500 total, so quite a bit more Brock Purdy cards have been graded than Trevor Lawrence cards the previous year. And then finally, most recently, 2023. CJ Stroud has got to be the biggest rookie name from that class. And look at this. We are back up to 2020 numbers. We have 17,000 base CJ Stroud rookies graded. There's also the variation, so there's another 2,000 variations graded. I think these are from like the hanger boxes, I believe. We have 17,000 PSA cards graded of CJ Stroud. So there are more CJ Stroud cards graded than any other quarterback ever, even dating back to 2020. So this is the year where Panini learned that they were losing the license, and they must have just said, screw it, we have nothing to lose, let's make as many Prism cards as possible. And it looks like they have just absolutely flooded the market. Also, just looking here, check this out. Look at Josh Allen, how long this page is, if you look at all of Josh Allen's inserts. So it looks like there's 22 rows. If you fast forward, it just keeps on going. There's 59 rows. So they've nearly tripled the amount of just cards out there, from parallels to inserts to even all these variations. So there's just so many different types of cards even associated with CJ Stroud that it just looks like the market's just being flooded with them. So if you're buying sealed product, one of the big things to do is just check this PSA population report. Obviously, there's so many cards printed in 2020 and 2023. The numbers there kind of surprise me. That I'd be staying away from those because there's going to still be sealed product out there, so they're not going to gain value quite as high. Look at something 2018, 2017 even, although those are going to be insanely expensive. But if you're buying something to hold and resell later, try to check the population reports, get a feel for which cards and which years have huge print runs, and invest accordingly. Hope this video helped and taught you something. I'll see you next time.